Good afternoon, Robbie Wilson. A couple things I'd like to talk about before we go to the charts today. Last week, as I showed you, the CPI, PPI came out. I want to do a little dissection fundamentally with the CPI. Rent, food, and auto insurance were up huge. Actually, the CPI was up 3.1%. So sometimes you get these figures that really don't blend. Some people call them massage. That's not it. They pick and choose. But at the end of the day, it's up and everybody needs the necessities, shelter and food and automobile insurance. I have no idea why that's up 16%. But now let's go to the charts. Robbie Wilson again. So what we're looking at here is crude oil in the futures, light, sweet, intermediate, West Texas crude. And I want to go through this. This is a monthly chart. Again, each one of these candles represents the open, high, low, and close. And we've gone back to August of 03 because we're in the middle of July of 2023. So I'm going to explain a couple things. As we were going into the great financial crisis, China was having a super boom. They were buying everything they could. And you can see this. And I want to go right to this where it all blew up, because we talked about parabolic moves. And this was the high. That's 147.27. And you can see it came straight all the way down. And again, these green lines are my proprietary work. So $33 a barrel and $25 a barrel is where it should bounce again. And it did. But as you can see, we had a lower high. And then we fell into equalization, really definable. We just didn't go anywhere, all the way till July of 14. What you're looking at here is what's called a descending wedge. And it goes all the way down into here, which is September of 19. Simultaneously, we had an uptrend as it came back into this level, right? Market remembers price. It remembers this, that was all the way over there. But we had an uptrend. And so this forms what's called a descending triangle. What I have here in yellow is the apex of that triangle. And that price is $70.33. And that's been a pivot. If it pivots above it and stays there, it's going to go higher. If it pivots and goes lower, as you can see, COVID, it came all the way down. And that shows $6.03. It actually went upside down $37. Never happened in the history of commodities going that deep. In other words, the producers had to pay somebody $37 a barrel to store it. It did not last long. So I want to keep going. And I want to go up into here. The old high. That's why I have that in a text mark. That was the old high going back, and I'm going to go left now. This was ported in. This is the oldest pivot I have, $91.52. And again, this is similar to the VIX. This comes in from decades that I ported into TD Ameritrade, I guess about 8 years ago when I started this particular account. Now I want to go to this. Russia invades. We go up. We get up to 100. I think it was 100 and I'll tell you right now, $130.50. It comes all the way back down. It hits that moving average. And here we are starting to bounce again. So this monthly chart above, and we are above this pivot now. Currently, we're at $71 or $77 approximately. And typically, when we're above that 70.33, this long-term apex pivot, we will go up into that old 91.52. You can see here on the left. If we break that, and that's a short version of it, Then we're going to get up into here, and that would be around let's call it $105. And seasonally, typically crude oil peaks literally the 4th of July, between the 4th and the 7th. There's seasonalities with this. We have so many other issues going on now that I am bullish on crude from here, even though it's out of season. Demand is low, but the OPEC has cut back 3.5 million barrels, and I think there's enough demand to push that higher. And I do believe, since they're in control right now, that they can, if they pull another 100 million barrels off to make it 4.5, we do get up into this above $100, and it would be somewhere between 102.10 and let's call it 107.66. What does that do to food? Well, in the coming video, Mr. Haig, he's going to go into some of the other commodities, the grains in particular. And that will be coming in the next probably day or so, because there's a USDA report that he's got to dig through. And that's enough for me today. This gives you a big picture, also some information you would never get because this old pivot 9152, it's decades old. Thank you so much, and there'll be more to come from Mr. Haig in regard to the grain market. Have a great day, and we'll talk soon.